Another week rolls on, another week of AD and the MC, episode 2. Mark Orville, Angry Dad, great to have you with us again.
I'm excited about being here 2 weeks in a row, Shura. The excitement's still real.
Oh, good. I'm glad it is. It's nice to be sitting next to you. My name's Shura Taft. And, last week we got stuck into plenty of commentary, lots of, thoughts about the week that was, the news and whatnot. And we got some great feedback as well from people out there. Don't forget our handles at AD and the MC on social media, YouTube as well out there. And you can get in contact at angrydad.com.au. But people feeding back what they thought.
What do you think?
I thought it was all right. I think it's interesting. You know, you've got to get off and running.
Oh, look, the whole plastic bag topic is still very, very, at the front of people's minds. I mean, again, my own experience this week, I forgot them. They're in the car, I had to go and they got bored. Don't start.
Well,
Don't start me on it again.
Because we put a poll on our Instagram out there and 263 people voted. The question was, are you plastic all the way or will you bring your own bags? And of that 263 votes, 196 people said they'd bring their own bags. 75%, I'm claiming a win there.
Nah, mate, you've rigged it. 100% you've rigged it. Seriously.
I do have a big family.
You have. You've got a big family. Massive family, clearly.
Let's jump straight into the dad lines. These are the big headlines of the week. What's caught your eye? Of course, the biggest sporting event in the world.
Oh, it has. What a great finish. I mean, France 4-2 in terms of the World Cup. Croatia were gallant in defeat.
Wasn't a great finish for the Socceroos.
It wasn't. Doesn't matter. I mean, mate, if you look statistically, they've been more than competitive. I think we have really high expectations. Just talk to Neil Mitchell about that. But anyway, what caught my eye about it was, any wonder all these countries vie to actually host the World Cup.
Yeah.
Economically, what that's done for Russia, I've from the articles I read, I think I've got Dutch blood. I think I might have a bit of Russian in me as well.
Do you?
Because all the people that were attending were expecting to see people that were really grey, serious and cold.
Yeah.
So I actually felt a bit sort of like paranoid about that, thinking about it. But
you do have a dodgy side to you, and that is very Russian, I'll be honest with you.
You reckon?
Yeah, sure. That's where my name's from, Russian.
Well, maybe that's where why I've followed it, why I've been interested in it. But like, they've had a lot of bad press the last 5 years with Syria and the like, etc. And we're probably a little bit removed from it. Anyway, economically, what a great outcome. And apparently, all the Russians are out in the street partying. That's what you want to see, because it's a fairly depressed country. And I don't say that to sort of have any sort of...
Probably an oppressed country as well, you'd have to say.
Well, do you know 70% of people there don't even have passports?
Doesn't surprise me.
So they clearly don't get out much anyway, whatever. But good outcome economically for them. Putin will probably buy another $700 million jet.
Well, probably Trump will chip in just to help him out as well. That's what happened this week, I'll tell you what.
Oh, mate,
it was good. I'll be interested to see what happens in Qatar, because there's a lot of controversy about the fact that it's going to Qatar next.
Why?
Well, because it was a dodgy... The whole voting process was pretty dodgy.
When isn't it?
Underhanded.
When isn't it?
These organisations, the IOC and FIFA, and they run like mafia organisations.
It's actually embarrassing. And here's all us have to be law-abiding citizens, and these bastards.
When have you abide by the law?
I always abide by the law, mate. 100%.
All right. Now, talking about the law, what about this one about the My Health thing online? So obviously they're pushing for this. The government looking to try and consolidate everyone's records. And what are your thoughts on that, AD?
If the government are driving it and behind it, it's guaranteed to fail. It'll be like every infrastructure project or every IT project they've attempted to try and do. Sure, seriously. Why would you want to act? That should be a private sector thing, not public sector. They've proven they cannot deliver anything on time or on budget.
So effectively, this My Health thing would take all of everyone's health records. They'll be online, which means that when you set foot into a doctor you haven't been before or a hospital, they've got your records at hand, ready to go.
Conceptually, I think it's a fantastic idea, because you spend half the time, if you change doctors, describing to them, your past. Right? I'm pretty healthy, so I don't go to the doctors that often. But no, mate, they could not organise a piss up in a brewery. So why would you want the government to do it? Conceptually, great idea, right? They can't. You are Mikey. They couldn't get that right. We're talking about people's private information.
Well,
if that gets out, you know what? There's going to be hell to pay. Don't even attempt to do it.
Well, it was originally people said that it should be an opt-in. It's now an opt-out, so everyone is in unless you decide to opt out by October. I don't mind this. I think that it's going to be something it's clearly going to help a lot of people, carers.
You know why it's opt out? No, you know why it's opt out? Because they know if it was opt-in, no bastard do it. It's as simple as that.
Because people are sceptical. Yes, okay, things happen like with the census, but there's a completely different set of circumstances here.
Not.
Like having all of your info, I think people don't realise they're going to opt out and it's going to make your life a lot harder. How much of our lives right now do we go into a bank and have to fill out yet another form? My name is, my date of birth is this should all be centralised. We all know where it is, and as long as there's good security in process.
There you go.
But we hear about all the bad ones. You always hear when there's a breach. You don't hear when it all works.
Because it never does. When it comes to government, it doesn't. Local, state, federal, doesn't matter. You can't trust them with, and you're talking about sensitive information, mate. You can't. You cannot trust them. I get the fact there's a lot of repetition in what we do with forms and all that, and it drives everyone insane. You're talking about health records, government projects, no, forget it. Tell them to move on and do something else.
So you advising your family all to opt out?
Mate, I would opt out 100%.
Right.
Even then, they probably couldn't get it right.
Yeah, don't trust your kids to do that.
Well, look at the voting. When they tried to do online voting, the system crashed.
Yeah. This is different though. I think I'm going to stay in. I'm going to stay in. I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
And I guarantee you, I know the ins and outs of your backside within 3 weeks because it'll come across my desk. I'm going to make sure it does.
I'll tell you, mate. Just ask. Now, I know this is the story that keeps on giving in a way. Like the Thai soccer kids now that they're out now. They're out of hospital. They did an interview yesterday. It was great to see them all happy and healthy. But you want to focus on a different element of this.
This has really pissed me off, right?
Okay.
And it sounds silly, I know. But what annoys me with this is this whole Elon Musk situation, right? This has been a good news story globally, right? Great outcomes. Do you know how many people would have actually dedicated so many man hours and their lives to this period to get these young kids out, which is unbelievable. And all of that real positivity and the really happy, good outcome side of it, the focus is then turned onto Elon Musk and stupid comments he made about some bloke. That's what pisses me off, because at the end of the day, what Elon Musk does and what he's attempting to do, PR stunt or no PR stunt, it shouldn't come into it. It's a great story, mate, and it really annoys the hell out of me. What worries me the most...
He got it wrong, didn't he?
What worries me the most, and you can't generalise here and say it's across the board, because I know a lot of people that are wealthy that are really good people, right? Clearly, a lot. But there seems to be a correlation between wealth and arrogance.
Yeah, okay.
That's what stands out for me in all this. He should know to load brain before you shoot mouth. You don't come out calling someone, a pedo, whatever it is. You can't do that, mate. No. You just can't do it.
Especially when you failed. Essentially, he said this submarine is going to get the kids out. Not only was it not able to get the kids out, it came 2 weeks late, basically. It was never going to do the job. And then you've got the gall to sort of call someone a pedophile.
Oh, it's just wrong on all fronts. If he did not like the comments that that guy made, shut your mouth. He's smart enough to know to shut your mouth. He deleted his tweet.
He's also unashamedly come out and said he takes full responsibility for it. It's like, mate, you're the one who said it. Who else is taking responsibility of the thing that came out of your mouth?
Load brain before you shoot mouth. It's simple. It's actually simple. So you question the motivation behind it all, and that's the most disappointing thing. Good news story. 26-year-old coach took those kids in there. The world bandied together, including some pretty smart and intelligent Aussies, to get these kids out. Got them out safely in a situation now where people are coming out saying they feared for all these kids' lives. And now we're worried about Elon Musk? Fair, you can stick to your batteries, mate. Don't you think?
He's done some good things, but this was a big miss.
But that's how quick you can undo things.
Yeah.
Just by shutting your mouth, right? He could have learned. He should learn. Which
is amazing, because we're doing this and you've got a chance now to open your mouth.
Yeah, well, again, and this isn't an Elon Musk bashing session. It annoys me that it's a good news story, right, that gets taken over with something that should never have happened. Anyway, that consumed me a bit this week. It did.
Well, so did this apparently, because the next big story is about a certain socialite and her financial records.
Yeah, like Forbes. They've actually just come out and said she'll be the youngest...
Who's she?
Kylie Jenner, I should actually say. Yeah. She's going to be the youngest self-made billionaire, right? And now all of a sudden social media is blown up, which surprised me. She's got 111 million followers. So that to me suggests there are people that support her, right? But people questioning, she's not self-made. Because that typically is reserved for people who start in a garage and borrow 20 grand off their mum and dad. Well, is that self-made?
Well, they valued her at $900 million, which by the way is usually inflated, let's be honest. Like a lot of people have said Forbes, how can you know exactly what someone is worth? But yes, I guess self-made is...
Well, it's meaningless. The title self-made is meaningless. Why don't they just look at it to say, here's a young kid that actually was in a family that happened to make it because of reality TV. She might have had a platform, but hey... How amazing is she done? 900 million? If it's 800 million, if it's 1.2 billion, why do you have to... again, the negative Nelly shit in all this.
What I find hard to stomach about it is, originally she comes out and says she never had work done on her lips. It's embarrassing. It's offensive, all sorts of stuff. Clearly plumped her lips up. She gets this notoriety. She wouldn't have it without her family. And then she creates this makeup line, which, by the way, a lot of people say... is exactly the same as the cheaper makeups. It's the same product.
The power
it's
of a
just
brand,
got
mate.
The
Yeah,
brand
power of
is,
a brand,
is very
100%.
powerful. I did enjoy that the Fat Jewish, who, if you haven't seen him on Instagram, very funny meme account, and he did something about. He started a GoFundMe page because he said in his lifetime he cannot see Kylie Jenner not become a billionaire. So the fact that she's 900 million, she needs the extra 100.
mate.
He's trying to get the extra 100 million on a GoFundMe page.
She's got it.
You put forward to that?
She's got it, mate. I can't, but at the end of the day, I'm happy to support anyone else that wants to.
So you're comfortable to say, yep, self-made billionaire.
Of course,
well done.
100%. You know, again, self-made. Is there a criteria that says if you actually borrow more than $10, you're not self-made? Do you know what I mean?
Do you honestly believe that she's the brains behind her? So
no.
then how is she self-made?
But anyone that actually succeeds, right? Are they, pull back the sheets. Are they always the only people that are behind it all, that are influential? Often they're just the front.
No, but I'd say someone like Bill Gates, for example, or Steve Jobs, they started these companies. They were at the forefront of it. Kylie Jenner didn't start a makeup company. They would have come knocking on the door and said, do you want to do your own line?
It's the power of the brand, mate. She might be sitting there saying, I actually need some sort of lipstick or makeup, and the mum goes, great idea, let's do it, bang. And her mum sort of gets into the mode and does it. Does it really matter? Self-made, at the end of the day, she's delivered and she's been extremely successful. And I don't know, people just like to bring people down.
Well, let's bring some people up, shall we?
Let's bring some people
Bit of
up.
happy dad now. Obviously, angry dad occasionally likes to get happy, and something really made you happy this week, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And you know what? I reckon there's a message here for... I hate politicians, don't I?
You really, there's one thing you hate.
I do.
It's politicians.
I do, and I'm actually happy to put my hand up and say I do. I hate every single one of them.
Yeah.
Not in an aggressive way.
Aggressive,
I just don't like what they do and what they stand for and what they're about. But that's what about... This young diesel mechanic from Traralgon, right? Clearly, Jackson Elfring, right? He was clearly sitting there. I was really moved by this, and I reckon, again, my message there to politicians and to brands is the power of truth and honesty in terms of getting messaging, right? This is a young kid that's got 2 kids that he's now brought into the world, and he looked at his missus because I'd read a story about someone being bashed or something happened in there.
It was a woman. It was a woman being killed again by a partner.
Yeah, well, and it moved his missus. It moved him enough to go to Facebook, film actually a message to society. It's gone viral, had something like 2 million views.
Probably more now.
56,000, 60,000 shares and 20, 30, 50, I don't know, whatever, likes. So engagement off its nuts. Basically just saying to people, wake up to yourself, right? No means no. Self-respect, right? Be nice to people. It doesn't cost you anything to say hello to someone, be nice to someone and make their day. Purely looking at it through parent goggles these days compared to when he was younger and no kids, because he's now bringing his kids up into that society. And I just found it amazing. It was raw, it was genuine, and it was honest, and it had amazing cut through. Why? Because people actually got what he was trying to say.
You can tell he's the sort of bloke who wouldn't normally do this.
No, of course, he was
stand up in front of his mates.
No, he was
wouldn't film
uncomfortable.
himself. He just wanted to get this point across, which is why it was so honest and so raw. And even him saying that, like, if he heard his son say something like "she's a slut" or whatever else, he'd be like, "Nah, that's not on. We've got to change this collective mindset."
Yeah, and he called out to his mates or anyone that hears people doing or saying that to say to them, it's not on. And there is a campaign on TV around this, and good to see that there's investment sort of supporting these types of unacceptable behaviours. But this Jackson, good on you, mate. Hats off to you. Fantastic. Actually, hats off. I'm going to send him a hat.
Send him a hat?
I'm going to send him a hat. I'm
Hats
going to
on to
hunt
you.
him down. I'm going to send him a hat because I'm seriously, I reckon it was fantastic and good on him for having the balls to do it. As you said, he wasn't comfortable doing it, but I reckon he got it across better than anyone.
Let's see if we can get Jackson Elfring sporting the old AD and the MC hat.
That AD and the MC hat is coming to him because I was down at Newborough, down that way actually on the weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll get it to him. We'll get it to him. Don't worry.
We'll get it to him. Well, while we're on that, actually, we did offer on AD and the MC Instagram, which you should follow at AD and the MC, to anyone to give some AD advice, because we do this every week. This is where you give some advice back, and we put it out there. You'd get a hat if you give us some questions that AD could give you some advice on. And the winner of our hat this week is at Megs1111, who is asked. She said this to you, Megan Malouf. She said, "How can I deal with?" Where is it?
Is this to me?
Yeah, this is to you.
Okay.
How can I deal with arsehole children? I have 6. Should I stop having kids to prevent more arseholes walking the earth, or keep trying for a good one? Thanks, Megan.
6.
You've got yourself a hat, by the way. We'll
6.
send it to you.
Fantastic, and thanks for
Don't have 7 hats.
Thanks.
We can't send you 7 hats.
If you're a restaurant, you only get 3 maximum anyway. Wow, 6. Maybe I should remind her there is such thing as contraception. If she's got 6 little arseholes, I got 2 arseholes, as in 2 arsehole kids, right?
Yeah.
Advice.
Not physiologically. Okay, good.
I'd give up now. If you actually haven't nailed it in 6, you're not going to nail it in 7, and it's not worth the pain, the stress, or the heartache. You know, I feel for you. I genuinely feel for her.
That's the definition of insanity, isn't it? Or impossible, which is doing the same thing over and again and expecting a different result.
Yeah, and
for old Megan, she's not getting the same. She's getting the same result.
Nah, Megan, you need to get out more and not stay home that often, I reckon. Mind you, she's got 60 Minutes the other day had that family had 16.
Yeah. I think there'd be a
16.
few arseholes
Oh
in there.
my god! No, and you know what? They looked bloody well behaved. It was the most orderly session in terms of the dinner table I've seen.
Right.
And there's 16 of them, clearly on camera, so they were probably, you know.
Feel for that mum. How's that mum?
16.
She's had 20 years of making babies.
I feel sorry for her. The family looked happy, mate. You know what? They looked happy. Good on them.
Well, like that,
Megan,
like that
stop.
family in America that was really happy until one of their daughters escaped, told the police, and they were arrested for all the things they were doing to their family.
Yeah, well, that's just ridiculous. Megan, 6, give up, stop, end of story. You know, shift out probably.
Nice work. Megan, and AD and the MC hat will be coming your way. So, hey, keep your questions coming in for AD advice. We want some legitimate advice. Not that it wasn't legitimate, but we want you to be giving it out there because you've lived a little bit of life. You've had a couple of kids. I've got some questions for you over the journey of this as well.
Well, it's all new to you. You've just got your first, mate. So
I've got an 18-month-old.
You're cutting your teeth.
He's raw. Yeah, we haven't shaped him yet. I'm sure we'll get you in front of
as long as you don't shape him like me, you'll be all right.
Now, we want to finish this week with you venting your spleen, mate. Angry Dad for a reason. You've had a gutful, and I think this is... get up on this podium and start telling us why you've had a gutful, mate.
I've had a gutful when it comes to the question that's being asked of late around dropping the voting age to 16.
It's not the first time this has come up.
And they should just shut up and leave it alone. You know, it was only 45 I think it was. Years ago, they dropped it from 21 to 18. The underlying thing in terms of this, right, to put it to bed, what do they want to achieve out of dropping the age to 16? What is the one thing that benefits all stakeholders if they were to choose to do that? I can't think of one.
I can.
What?
So I reckon the reason that this is a good idea, firstly, you'll enhance the turnout. You'll empower the youth, who are the ones who are actually the future of this country, who actually start to make decisions and realise it's important. At that age, if you start to realise you actually do have a voice and you're important, this is what we're seeing in movements at the moment, like in America with the school shootings.
While they're still at school focusing on study.
Yeah, that's the fact. So it's civic education. Get into schools. Start teaching kids about the importance of politics, about what it means to have a voice. We never learnt this at school. You wouldn't learn at school,
Thank Christ I didn't. I would have left in year 3.
The fact of the matter, whether you like politics or not, they exist, right? And we all pay taxes, and we all try and we all want the best for ourselves, for our families, health, whether it's education, all that sort of stuff. Teach it in school, so at 16 you can go, all right, I know that if I go and vote for this certain party, they're going to do this. That's going to affect me how?
No, you're wrong straight away. You know why? If you actually introduce them at 16, and what you just said then, that's a perfect point. I'm glad you said it that way. So you're going to introduce kids at 16 to politicians, right, who are sitting there pre-election making all these promises that they never deliver on, or very rarely deliver on. So we're actually going to say, listen to this politician, vote for him because that's what he's going to do. Then after it, you vote them in, they don't do it. You then have to say why it's all right for them to lie and not do it. But if you lie, I'll put mustard on your tongue.
Yeah, but we live this way as well. We've lived our entire lives being promised things by politicians and it's not happening.
Well, then don't expose your kids at 16 to wait till it's 18. They can't have sex and they can't drink.
Well, they can leave
18.
school, they can get a job, they can drive a car, they can pay tax, they can do all that stuff at 16.
Well, they can't drive a car.
It's
different states. That doesn't matter, mate. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, this is about letting kids enjoy their youth. Because, you know, the web has stuffed kids' youth as it is. So why expose them to politicians?
Hang on a sec. Don't ruin kids' youth. Don't teach them to be little bastards.
By introducing to
dad.
Yeah, I know. Well, there you go. Well, maybe that's why I'm so strong on it. But Shura, you think about this, right? Bullying, right? You look at bullying. We introduce kids to politics, right, and have them sit there and, as part of the process, learn so that when you vote, you actually vote with the right sort of drivers in mind as to why you're choosing them. You watch them on television. It's like a frigging circus, mate. They're in there. They're yelling. They're screaming. They're calling each other liars. They're accusing him of, rorting systems and doing this, that, and the other. and they're protected by a privilege. There's no consequence. Why would you want them to look at that sort of shit?
Hang on a sec. Isn't there a chance that by exposing kids to this now, and yes, they might see lies and whatnot, that they will then go and become politicians themselves and maybe start to deliver on promises?
And say,
we start to change this because what you just want the status quo to stay the same, which is that politicians will always lie, we'll always vote them in, they'll not deliver. How about we have some that do deliver?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. And
well,
the minute I see
it,
it won't, because monkey see, monkey do. And by the way, clearly it's mandatory to vote here. In the US, it's not, right? If you look at some of the stats in the US, that under 25 age group, in terms of contribution or in terms of actually voting, it's gone significantly down because they don't care. The older demographic, right?
I reckon you'll see a huge turnout the next election. You watch.
No, there won't be, mate. And
Trump's done something to America that's galvanising youth. Maybe they'll do it. They will come out and vote.
Maybe. And I don't even know what the percentage of the total population is. All I know is here that 16, they don't need to be exposed to it. Kids they're smart at 16 because it's access to information. I get that. So this is not undermining them in terms of maturity. There is an argument for it in terms of the level of maturity at 16. Are you actually in a position to vote? Do you know what worries me the most actually out of this?
I don't.
You see, some of these. Have you looked at some of the parties that are on that dirty big vote? The big.
I try not to.
Right. Well, there you go. Exactly. The sex party and all this. And there's a heap of them. What they stand for, who knows? Smart marketers get behind that. You'll have kids who are ignorant of what the real issues are around politics, sway towards voting for parties that are never going to do anything, but the name's cool, so let's actually do it. Well, there you go, 100%. And anyone that stands for an election, every vote they get money. You know that, don't you? So it's, again, a commercially driven thing. How can you try voting? Do you read in the paper today? ALP?
What's that?
The allegations around vote rigging, and they've got to pay $400,000 back.
Shock me.
I mean,
we are going to try very hard to get a politician on this show as a guest. I want you to go head to head. If anyone out there knows a politician who'd be willing to come on this show and go head to head with AD, let us know. contact@angrydad.com.au is the email to get in touch, or you can contact us through Instagram, AD and the MC, or through our private ones. Either way, I want to see you go head to head with a politician who's going to pull you up on some of these things.
I'm happy to have a chat with them.
Them
and I don't profess to always being right. At the end of the day, I make and form an opinion based on all the information and facts that are made available.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't see many stories that come out that actually, at this point, want to make me change my mind. I'm open-minded. If one wants to, I'm happy to actually have a chat to them. And they might tear me to pieces. That's okay. I'll even pick them up if they want. I'll go and pick them up and we can have a chat in the car on the way here.
Just so if Angry Dad offers you to have a chat in the car, you take a taxi. All right, we've got to get out of here. Thanks for joining us again on AD and the MC. As I said, there's plenty of ways to get in contact with us. Contact@angrydad.com.au. Any questions, some advice you might have. Of course, follow us on all forms of social media @AD and the MC. And this episode will be on YouTube, AD and the MC, and on SoundCloud and iTunes as well. AD, you've been great.
Good to catch up. I'm off. I'm hungry and I'm going to get something to eat.
Take a deep breath. All right, we'll see you next week.